On behalf of Koppel Chevrolet GMC, Merry Christmas and safe travels to all.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
So he can maybe run.
So like speed option, those things, all you want to do.
Speed. I can't see him.
It's also
Look
what you did. Look what you did. Look at Bill.
Down.
Come on
Just
now.
calm down.
I don't say anything about semicolons or should there be a
Word
parentheses or
Too many commas over there.
too many
Come on.
run-on sentences. Don't talk about that. It's not my wheelhouse.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. This is a presentation of high school basketball on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. High school basketball broadcasts are presented by Members Own Credit Union, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Southeast Community College, Sunbelt Rentals, Doane University, the NDOT Highway Safety Office, Roofing Service Company, Nebraska Army National Guard, Bats to Rats, High Electric, Pizza Ranch, Dana Trucking, and Union Bank. Now, calling all the action, here's Nick Sainert and Jay Foreman.
Welcome into Lincoln Southeast High School. We got a good one on tap between the undefeated, the 5-0 Omaha Westside Warriors and the 2-3 Lincoln Southeast Knights. I apologize in advance. The band is extremely loud, and we know you guys can hear it through our microphones. Jay said before we went on the air he can barely hear himself think, and now we got some relief. Jay, now you can hear yourself think a little bit.
Yeah, we did for a second, but look, it's a battle of Lincoln and Omaha. Probably, Lincoln Southeast is, one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the city here, and then obviously Westside is one of the top teams in the metro. So
yeah, it's
a perfect game of styles make fights. Where you got Westside that is heavy guard oriented, and one guy, it's over 6'5", and then whereas Southeast has 2 or 3 guys that are 6'5", but they have a ton of experience in one of their guards, and Tay Moore. So he's going to have to lead the way, and along with Jake Hickelman, and then they have to, overcome the pressure and the quickness of this Westside team, because not only are they top heavy as far as their starters, they have a deep bench. When you have outside of their starters 4 guys averaging over 5 points off the bench, it lets you know if somebody gets in foul trouble, they can still score.
We're going to do a national anthem. We'll step aside and be right back with starting lineups when we return on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design, take a computer course, learn Spanish, how to start writing a book, or Air Fryer 101. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
As the chief buffet officer here at Pizza Ranch, I get all kinds of buffet questions. Here's one from Cole.
Is there a real cactus in your cactus bread?
Great question, Cole. No, there is no cactus in our cactus bread, just sweet cinnamony streusel. It's on our buffet every day, along with pizza, chicken, ice cream, and all your other favorites. Even better, at least for your parents, kids eat free on Tuesday nights. And don't worry, Cole, there's no coal in our coleslaw either.
Pizza Ranch, everyone's favorite buffet.
All right, welcome back in Lincoln Southeast High School, the site for Omaha Westside and the Knights. It's our second broadcast of high school hoops, first one that Jay and I get to do together this winter or fall, I guess, whatever season it is. After a real successful football season, Jay, it's basketball season. It's in full swing.
Yeah, man, this is a great time, and then the first one of many that we'll get to do, and it's a good matchup here. There's 2 well-coached teams, veteran teams, and so it's going to come down to just like football, fundamentals, turnovers, and who can hit the open shots, and it'll probably come down to free throws. So the depth of Westside against the, I guess, 5 starters of star power, the Southeast is going to tell the tale.
Well, I mean, you talk about experience and you talk about depth. Omaha Westside, that undefeated record led by head coach Jim Simons. They're going to start Ricky Lofton, a senior, Caleb Benyon, a senior, Kevin Stubblefield, a senior, CJ Mitchell, a senior, and Tyson Odvedy, who's a junior. You want to talk about experience, where in contrast with Lincoln Southeast, they lost a lot. A couple guys transferred out. We know Van Gogh Dak was a big part of last year's team. He's now playing in Boulder for the Colorado Buffaloes. Now you look at their starting lineup. Mike Ngoy is a junior. Zaya Brown's a senior. Tay Moore's a senior, averaging 16.5 per game. That's their leader on offense. Hilkeman and then Dane Geet will round out the starting lineup.
Yeah, I mean, so, well, they lost a lot to transfers, throughout the city, and, they tried to recover. So, when you have Tay Moore and Jake Hilkeman coming back, you're in pretty good shape, but we'll see tonight if they can hang with Westside.
Both teams made the state tournament last year. Westside made it a little bit farther than the Knights did, and Westside will control the tip going left to right from our vantage point. This is CJ Mitchell. Hands it off to Avidi at the top. Now back to Mitchell, left side. He'll drive middle, right elbow. Throws up a wild shot. It's going to be deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with the Warriors. Warriors decked out in some snazzy all-black uniforms.
Yeah, they're coming out maybe trying to make a statement. And, look, they're a pretty well-established high school in all their sports, so they probably have a multitude of uniforms. But looking pretty sharp, and good defensive series there by Southeast, whereas Westside came out in a little bit of three-man weave action to see how well they were going to defend just some simple action to get into the game.
So Avidi in the corner, now top near the logo is Stubblefield. He'll now hand it left side, Lofton, top of the key. He'll drive center of the lane, dumps it off. Avidi at the doorstep, and he hits the 2-point bucket. It's a 2-0 lead early on.
That play right there just lets you know, even before the one got knocked out of bounds, they think they can get into the paint. Whether it's Sherman Williams, like I like to call it, where you kill them in the paint, they feel very comfortable beating Southeast off the dribble.
Hilkeman backing down Lofton, and he's able to get the friendly roll off back iron. We're all knotted up at 2. You mentioned Westside, really strong in all sports. This is obviously a team that won the state title in the football season, and they got Caleb Benny, the future Husker, on their team playing basketball. He's out there, number 2 right now.
Yeah, he's a great all-around athlete, and obviously a great football player, pretty good basketball player. You see him, he comes out with the steal right there, unselfish play right there, give it up to CJ Mitchell, and that's what they do, right? They play tough defense, active hands, active feet, can all catch the ball, all look up what they try to get the ball down court, and they're going to make you beat them. But Southeast is answering right there. The first play was Jake Hilkeman, where he has a size advantage. Jake Hilkeman, if he gets off early, Southeast has a better chance of winning this game.
Yeah, nice floater in the middle of the paint by Zaya Brown. We're all squared at 4, about a minute and a half in. 3 ball on the way, right side. No dice, a nice rebound there by Brown. He'll bring it up the floor, dishes it off to Ngoy. Left side, Ngoy drives on Stubblefield, takes the contact. And that was Mitchell that he drove on, and it's going to go on at CJ Mitchell. And so that's the senior's first personal foul. That'll send Mike Ngoy to the line. The junior hitting 84% from the charity stripe here early on.
Yeah, he's a young player that they've been kind of grooming, waiting for, some older guys to leave. And obviously with the amount of transfers, he got jettisoned into the starting lineup. And he's a wiry-looking kid, but he did a really good job right there, Nick, of changing the pace, right? Came down maybe in 3rd gear, then he's able to go to 5th gear pretty quick and get to the rim.
So Ngoy misses the first. We're still tied up at 4 apiece. 6:16 to go. Opening quarter between Westside, the 5-0 Warriors, and the 2-3 overall Lincoln Southeast Knights. We had the Knights in our first game of the year. They lost to Gretna back a couple of weeks ago by 25 points here on this floor. So trying to get back to 500 ball with a win tonight against the Warriors, while also dishing them their first loss of the 2023 campaign. Top of the key here. Now right side Lofton. He'll hand it off. Odvedy gives it back to Lofton. He'll try to drive left side. May have gotten away with a shove. Misses the floater as Zaya Brown went flying. But the Knights retain possession. Right side, here's Dane Geet with it. Far corner now, Zaya Brown working on Avidi near the logo. Now bounces it to Taymor. Once again, Moore, the leading scorer, averaging 16.5. Cross-court pass, Zaya Brown wide open. Corner 3, just a little too strong.
Pass.
Great
Good
board.
Dane
Geet throws up a wild shot, no good, and a board goes to Omaha Westside. Here comes Ricky Lofton, coast to coast, and the floater is good.
Yeah, that was a really good play by Ricky Lofton. Had him on their heels the whole way after a after Dang missed a easy bunny. But that's how quick Westside can change the flip the court on you and then put pressure on your defense. The one thing about Westside is they're all around good athletes. You don't see the ball mishandled. You see them very strong. They catch the ball clean. They do all the little things that keep them on time in their offense. So they're always in rhythm. You saw when Stubblefield came down and shot a three, he missed it. It wasn't any big deal because they got back on defense. They know they can depend on their defense, and they're a long team. They might not be very tall vertically, but width-wise, they're very, very long and wiry and strong.
So we had a foul on an entry pass on the Knights side of the floor. On the inbound, Hilkeman takes a three, and he drains it. And the Knights lead 8-6, a little under halfway through the first quarter.
That's what they need right there, and that's what they've been missing all year, just getting Jake Hilkeman started. Even last year when they went to state, he was their most consistent player. He's big, physical. He's a three-level scorer. Sometimes they don't use him enough, and he can just kind of go by the wayside, and then they try to get him to finish the game. They got to get him off early. He's going to heat check right now. But
there's Hilkeman, another try at a three-point shot. No good, a little too strong. That was Hilkeman's fourth made three. He's now just 4 of 10 on the season. That's uncharacteristic for Jake Hilkeman.
Yeah, and sometimes, Nick, when you don't get the ball a lot, especially early in the game, you force up shots. And just like that right there where he hit the first three, you would like him to see when he was wide open, just shoot it, right? Because you just hit the all net, and sometimes you study long, study wrong. So right there, it just shows the lack of touches sometimes can rear their ugly head in a game or two after you've had the ball a couple times.
Right side on the baseline is Benning. Cross-court pass handled by Stubblefield. Stops in the paint, throws it off the backboard, and it falls. It's all tied up 8 apiece with 4:02 to go opening quarter. Knights looking strong on both ends of the floor, even though they may be a little overmatched tonight.
Yeah, they played a pretty tough schedule. They just played, I think, Omaha Bryan up there and lost in double overtime. Controversial loss right there. So they are well equipped to go, head-to-head with any team. Now you saw Jake Hilkeman get it. Now you got Tate Moore with a deep three. This is when Southeast is dangerous. They can play good enough defense to kind of keep you at bay, but then they can hit the in and out outside shot against you. And now they're running. Now you're going to see a little bit of their athletic ability.
Yeah, wide open bunny missed on the doorstep by Omaha Westside. Three-pointer in transition. It falls, and it's a 6-point Knights lead. Nice job going and transitioning from defense to offense, and a nice job by Mike Ngoyi finding Zaya Brown on the far corner.
Good job by Lincoln Southeast running a little secondary break. One extra pass from Tate Moore. He very easily could have shot it. Got it to Zaya Brown, who is a three-point shooter. A really good job by him hitting the open guy. Get to Zaya Brown in rhythm. Nothing but net on that three.
On the other end, we're going to have a Southeast foul on Mike Ngoyi. Once again, Ricky Lofton has gotten away with maybe a little bit of an extension of the right elbow as he drives on the left side of the bucket, knocking down a Knights player each time now, but able to draw the defensive foul on the Knights, Mike Ngoyi.
Nick, when you look at the players out there, Westside does a really good job of implementing physical strength workouts and weight room during the season. Just look how physically more developed that they are versus Southeast. So sometimes that might look like it's just nature versus nurture. Ricky Lofton is a big physical point guard, can handle it, and he might be the most equipped to play inside and outside. What I mean is he can beat you off the dribble, he can post you up, and he definitely can get to the rim.
So 2 made free throws for Ricky Lofton, the senior guard, averaging 12.5 per contest. Now here's the Knights up by 4. Working right to left from me and Jay's vantage point. Entry pass on the left side. This is Hilkeman just inside the three-point line. Now on the block on the left side of the bucket. Kicks it out. Dane Geet will try a contested three, and he hits it. Nothing but net for Dane Geet as it's 17-10, Lincoln Southeast.
This is where Southeast is really good. If they're able to hit open shots or hit threes and move the ball so they're not forcing up shots, they do a really good job. Great block there by Mike Ngoyi. Little 6-foot guard putting it back in the Westside offensive player's face.
So now Southeast trying to make it a double-digit lead with a 3-point shot, makes it a 9-point lead with a 2-point bucket. Here top of the key, Ngoyi, guarded by Stubblefield. Now right side, this is Geet, guarded by Lofton. He tries to drive, steps back, he'll pull up, 3-ball on the way, rims out. And Stubblefield gets the defensive rebound. Up the floor, great pass up to Lofton, reverse layup, and he gets a little English on it to make it fall, and it's 17-12 Knights.
That's an example of a forced three that turns into a transition two. Southeast is really dangerous when they shoot threes in rhythm, the extra pass. that's when they're really good offensively. When they try to go one pass and jack up a shot, they give up an extra 2-pointer, 3-pointer down on the defensive end.
And I'll say this, every time Westside has punched, Lincoln Southeast has been able to punch back. As we saw Mike and Goy get an and one bucket. The foul goes on number 12, Maddox Anderson, the senior reserve guard. And so Mike and Goy will now go to the line to shoot one.
Yeah, I think, Southeast, I think they could, if there's ever to get any confidence from a double overtime loss, they got it. I think they went toe-to-toe with Omaha Bryan, who has the best player in the state and one of the other better guards, and they matched them punch for punch. And quite frankly, if you go back and look at the game, they probably won the game 2 or 3 times, right? So, when they went to practice this week, they probably felt like they can play with anybody, and Westside's just one of those teams. But what they're doing now, which they haven't done consistently this year and all the way into last year, is move the basketball, not play individual basketball, move it, and everybody's getting good open shots. And even the ones that are contested, I'm sure Coach Joey Warning doesn't have a problem with it.
Ooh, foul on the defensive end for Lincoln Southeast. Hilkeman tried to blow up a screen, and he gets whistled for the harm. So Westside keeps the basketball. Maddox Anderson on the right wing, entry pass, fumbled around a little bit by Stubblefield. Now the help defense comes. He draws into the contact. No whistle and no bucket as Southeast cleans up the miss. Guy to watch, Kendall Hinton, a senior big man for Lincoln Southeast, is in the game to see if maybe a little height will cause some problems, but they don't need it as Tay Moore gets a left-handed finish, and it's a 10-point Lincoln Southeast lead.
Yeah, what's funny is that Lincoln Southeast has a 10-point lead, but it looks like Westside is a little bit of, I wouldn't say jet lag because they weren't on a plane. They look like they're a little bit Highway 80 lag. Now they're down by 13 points. It'll be interesting to see how they respond because they don't look like they're playing with the same amount of energy that they usually play. But when a team is hitting 5 or 6 threes in the first quarter, you're going to be down by a few points. Let's see what they do to battle back.
We're starting to see made shots contribute to defensive intensity and energy on Lincoln Southeast bench. 26 seconds to go. First quarter, the shot clock is turned off, and the Knights lead by 13, 25-12 over the undefeated Warriors. Here at home, Tay Moore has it near the timeline, guarded about 2 or 3 feet away by Caleb Benning. The 5-second count is not in effect at this moment. 8 seconds on the game clock. Now Hilkeman will come set a screen left. Now here's Moore dribbling through the legs. 3 seconds. He chucks up a contested 3. It's saved in bounds. There's the horn. And at the end of the first quarter, not a lot of complaints from Joey Warning, I would imagine. 25-12. Lincoln Southeast has done more than double up the Warriors. At the end of the first period, we'll take a break and be back in 60 seconds from Lincoln Southeast High School. It's High School Hoops on 93.7 The Ticket.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Stretch, adjust, heal. At Spine and Sports Chiropractic and Physical Therapy, we believe in the power of precise alignment. Our skilled chiropractors listen, understand, and treat your body's unique needs, offering a personalized pathway to peak performance. Don't let back pain knock you out of the game. Step into our clinic and walk out with a renewed strength. Spine and Sports Chiropractic and Physical Therapy, pushing the boundaries of health and wellness. Treatment begins with you. Step back into life today. Nick Sainer, Jay Foreman back with you. Lincoln Southeast High School. The Warriors of Omaha Westside in their 5-0 record trail the Knights 25-12 at the start of the second period. The Warriors had kind of a bipolar state tournament appearance last year. They were the 5 seed going in. They were able to beat the 4 seed Lincoln East by 30, and then they followed that up with a 30-point loss to Bellevue West, the Bellevue West team that, guess what, they play on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Bellevue West was a juggernaut, and they were by far the best team last year. So to lose by 30 probably wasn't Westside Envision, but they also know that they're playing one of the best teams ever in Nebraska State history.
Well, how about that? Kendall Hinton cleans up his own miss, and he follows it up with a 2-point bucket. It's 27-12. We'll see if Westside can pick up a little bit of urgency here. Benning has it in the near side corner, right in front of Joey Warning. Great cross-court pass to Advedi. Short on the 3 ball. Great one-handed rebound there by Isaiah Brown. and Southeast goes back the other way. This is where you could really feel like maybe you could step on the throat if you're Southeast and really take some wind out of any possible sail. As mid-range J just a little too short. Offensive rebound tipped around a couple of times. Hilkeman comes up with it, and he misses the easy floater on the turnaround. Westside back the other way, left to right. Here's C.J. Mitchell, kicks it out. Benning, 3-ball on the way, and it rattles around and falls. 27-15.
You know, when you look at Westside shoot their 3-point percentage versus Southeast, it's the first one for Westside, and Southeast had many. The one thing Westside has to do is crank up their defensive intensity. You know, where Southeast missing some bunnies, but the ball pressure has to increase so they're not getting easy shots. And especially with Kendall Hinton coming in there, he's definitely a physical presence, and being 6'4", 260 pounds. He definitely can make you punch a hole in the defense.
Hinton dribbles it off his right foot. A turnover, Stubblefield in traffic, and there's going to be a foul on the floor as it'll go on Zaya Brown, his first personal, first team foul rather, of the second quarter on the Knights. Checking in for the Knights, Dane Geet. Also in for Omaha Westside is going to be the junior big man Carson Healy, as Tyson Odvedy will take a seat.
Yeah, I just think right here it's a very crucial time, a point in the game that Southeast has got to continue to play the same pace. Maybe not shoot as many threes. Obviously, if you're making them, it's great. But realistically, you got to make sure that you're not falling in love with the three. You're playing good basketball, because you got to expect that Westside's going to make a run of their own.
So here's right wing Lofton, and he throws it to the elbow. That's where Healy's at. Now back right side, Stubblefield dribbles top of the key, guarded by number 23, Gavin Kubik. As Mitchell drives, works through contact, and they're going to say no shot. Both Ngoyi and Hinton were in the vicinity, and it's going to go on Kendall Hinton.
Yeah.
And as soon as they call that, it looks like Jake Hilkeman's going to check in for Hinton.
Well, I mean, the defender got beat off the dribble, and Kendall Hinton had no choice but to foul him. So, I mean, I get it. I can understand why you bring him out, bringing Hilkeman, but they have guys in there with a lack of experience. You're playing against a very experienced veteran team that's not going to bat their eye being down 12 points. And so you have to expect you got to put your veteran players in there.
Off the west side miss, Geets running coast to coast, and as he tried to pivot and kick it out, he gets whistled for the travel. Omaha Westside, they've also missed a couple layups. They're trying some contested shots, trying to make some things happen. They trail 27-15. They got good enough athletes, though, to do it, because they've been able to make a couple of those.
They can make some shots at the rim. They're big physical kids. They go through contact. But one thing they haven't done is the spacing on the court is a little bit off, and then the crispness of their cuts, of their picks, isn't usually how they are in Westside. But they're trying to get some high-low action right there with Stubblefield. Hasn't got on the scoreboard, doing a lot of flopping and leaving a lot of shots short at the rim.
Hilkeman trying to make 3 threes, unable to hit so, and back in transition we go. Westside 2-on-1 break. Stubblefield off the glass, it falls, and it's a blocking foul on Tay Moore. That's going to be Moore's first personal foul, and Stubblefield, as on Jay's cue, he gets in the scoring column, and he'll go to the line to shoot one.
I guess I need to talk about, he would like me to talk about it more often, but what happened there was a one pass, quick three by Jake Hilkeman off the backboard or off the front rim, up the court, and Ricky Lofton dropped it off to Stubblefield. Now you got a 3-point play. So what was a 15-point lead is now down to 9. And so what I think is Westside is trying to, what I like to call, hold their head above water, get close to halftime, trying to make a run, because it seems to me that this Lincoln Southeast offense that came out on fire has slowed down a little bit.
Hilkeman trying to make some moves in the paint, throws it away, but it's saved from going out of bounds by Tay Moore on the left side. Moore drives, spins at the free throw line, gets Lofton to jump in the air. He hits the mid-range J, works through the contact, no whistle, but here comes Mitchell trying to push the pace for the Warriors. In the paint, Mitchell kicks it out far side, 3-ball on the way, Healy. He runs into a music stand, and Carson Healy's slow to get up, but he's back on the other side.
He got clipped a little bit there by Gavin Kubik, the Southeast defender. The referee missed it, and he got knocked up into one of the loud band members there that we had, pregame.
Trifecta on the way from Tay Moore, rattles around and out. Back the other way we go with Westside. Right side, Stubblefield working on Hilkeman. Lost it for a moment, gets it back, now pivots, and he hits it off the glass and in. It's 29-20.
Nick, when you watch Stubblefield, if you're a basketball, I guess coach or something, he could get you. He looks kind of frustrated, but he looks like he's not playing his heart, but he's extremely smooth. No wasted steps, strong, long, so he's able to go in against guys that are bigger than him and get buckets. And
Sorry to interrupt you, Jay. Off the miss, Lofton finishes with two hands, and that's going to be a timeout for Lincoln Southeast. It was a once again, as you said, a rushed three by Dane Geet. It was not needed. Lofton had good defense on it, good contest of the 3-point attempt by Dane Geet, and then Lofton, as Geet was laying on the hardwood, just rushed up the floor. Great find by C.J. Mitchell.
Sometimes when you try to sell a three, you lay on the floor too long. This is not it's not nap time. And I think one thing that's always plagued the Southeast. Yes, you started out hot, but let's be honest, you're not a 3-point shooting team. That's not even how Joey Warning coaches his team. So ball movement, and when you get an on-time three, that's 2 or 3 passes. You're cutting. You're trying to get into the lane. And what that does, Nick, is it allows those 3-point shooters maybe a step and a half where the defender gets to them.
Yeah.
The last 2 possessions are what? Either 1 pass and a 3 or 2 pass and 3. Both are highly contested shots. What do they lead to? A 3-point play and an open dunk by Ricky Lofton. And so what Joey Warning did right there was a good job of slowing down the run. You still got a 7-point lead. Get them settled and come out. If I'm talking to the team, I said, let's get our best set run. What's our bread and butter? Let's really get back into this game and try to get the ball inside to either Hickelman or Dang to get an easy bucket at the basket.
Here's Ngoy on the drive. Great finish by Mike Ngoy as he just took it to Caleb Benning. And now here comes Mitchell back the other way. Floater fading away. It rattles around and home.
Mike Ngoy, like I said, he's slight in frame, but what he has is that quick first step that you either got to play him honest and play him off, but he can hit a good mid-range shot and a 3-pointer. But what he's doing is he's lulling those Westside defenders to sleep. He's coming in second and third gear, and the next thing you know, he is by you, and he's finishing at the bucket real strong because he is wiry, super long arms, and he's stronger than he actually looks.
Inbound pass here for Lincoln Southeast underneath their own bucket. Hinton flashes. Great job on the pick and roll by Kendall Hinton. Yes. And back the other way we go. Zaya Brown with the feed.
Look, when you use Kendall Hinton the right way, he's highly effective. He will pick. He will set huge picks. Look how big he is. And you know how he got so open, Nick? By setting the pick really strong.
C.J. Mitchell almost gets his pocket picked, but Westside gets it back. Top of the key. Here's Healy with it. Now right side, Oddvity. Both those guys can shoot for Westside. Right side, here's C.J. Mitchell. Crosses over in the lane, dribbles through traffic. Now dishes it out, and bouncing it off his foot is Carson Healy. It's a turnover back to the Knights. 2:54 to play. Second quarter, 33-24. Lincoln Southeast leads Omaha Westside.
Yeah, Westside just does not look very crisp tonight, right? The energy is a little bit better, but not as high as it usually is. And they're forcing guys to do things they don't like to do. Healy is a 3-point shooter. He's a move. He goes out, comes off picks. He likes to get the first pass or the third or fourth pass to get a wide open 3. You force him to drive to the bucket. It's a turnover, and it's a self-check, actually. He dribbled right off his foot.
So 2:34 and counting. 15 on the shot clock for Lincoln Southeast, trying to find some gaping holes in that West Side defense. Hilkeman spins around, fades away, off back iron. Right. Defensive board cleaned up by Carson Healy. So back the other way we go as Healy crosses the timeline. Now dishes it to Stubblefield, left side. C.J. Mitchell crosses over on Geet, and he gets it knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Knights.
Yeah, again, as I watch this West Side team, they look like they're just starting to wake up a little bit. And so if I'm Southeast, I got to really, really put this hammer down this last two minutes of the half to try to build up a lead.
C.J. Mitchell, right wing 3 ball, a little off to the right. Hinton cleans up the miss. So Tay Moore, with 2:05 to go, will jog it across the timeline. Gets picked up by Caleb Benning. Now screen right, Hinton. Moore spins on Benning. Good job staying vertical by Caleb Benning. Defensive board cleaned up by Stubblefield. Back the other way we go. Mitchell pushing the pace. Maddox, Anderson, top of the key. Stubblefield working on Hinton. They have the speed advantage for Westside, and he gets the layup to go.
He is a crafty or in and around the hoop. Plays at really good pace. He doesn't speed up. He plays at the same pace every single time. Again, contested shot. Great defense by Caleb Benning. Off the backboard, up the court, 2 or 3 passes, and then you get something into the bucket. Nick, I keep saying it, The more you get to the rim, right, and kill them in the paint, the more open shots you'll get. And then you see right there where Dang got to the rim. a little bit too hard off the backboard, missed a bunny, and Westside was about to run again down the court, but he fouled him, or Kendall Hinton fouled him. And so what you're seeing here now is a momentum change, slowly but surely. This when you have about 20 seniors on your team, they can withstand being down 15 points because they know it's a long game, and they know if they play their style of basketball, forcing you into bad shots and run the court, run a little bit of offense, they'll be back in any game that they play this year.
Well, and Kendall Hinton had a little bit of a frustration foul, and that's a big one. That's his second personal, so he's going to have to sit for what I would assume be the rest of the first half, which is about 63 seconds. So here's Ngoy working on Mitchell, spin move in the lane, and Ngoy through contact.
Got bailed out
and
right there.
He's going to get.
That was a wild shot that was bailed out by a call right there, because he came down, drove left, spun back right. I don't even know if he was looking at the hoop, threw it up, and there was some body contact, but I think the body contact actually looked a little bit worse considering how you're out of control sometimes. But nevertheless, Southeast is at the free throw line. They need every free throw tonight to keep Westside almost at bay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to wake up the sleeping giant. You don't want to come down and start shooting a whole bunch of wild shots, or give them some fouls at the rim and let them get easy buckets, and then they can turn it on, and then next thing you know, you could lose by 10 points.
Yeah, and Ngoy hits the first. He's 84% from the free throw line this season. He goes 2 for 2 here. So with 60 seconds left in the second quarter, it's 35-26. Lincoln Southeast with a lead over Omaha Westside, the visitors. Here as Mitchell lost the basketball for a moment. He can't pick it up, and it's still on the ground, but now it's corralled by a Westside Warrior.
Yeah,
now top of the key, Stubblefield gives it to Mitchell. 15 on the shot clock. Healy drives, kicks it. Benning, 3-ball, trying to get his second, just a little too strong. Healy cleans up the offensive rebound, has it underneath the bucket. Now Mitchell, top of the key, spin in the lane. Mitchell gets it blocked by Geeks. Back the other way we go. Tay Moore in transition, working on Benning, and that's going to be a jump ball. Incredible defense by Westside and Caleb Benning.
They had a highlight play on defense there, withstood the spin move, and then pinned it up on the backboard. CJ Mitchell, don't come in here weak. You better come in here strong. Pinned it up against the backboard, led to a fast break. Unfortunately for Southeast, it turned into a jump ball.
So now top near the logo with 8 seconds and counting. It's CJ Mitchell. Left side working on Ngoy. Drives in the lane. Lost the basketball. Back the other way. 3 seconds. 2 seconds as Moore chucks up a 3-ball. And it's a tad strong. And that will do it for the second quarter. Your score at the half. Lincoln Southeast 35. Omaha Westside 26. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the Members Owned Credit Union halftime show here from Lincoln Southeast right here on high school basketball, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
When it comes to joining the Nebraska Army National Guard, you've heard it all before. College, healthcare, signing bonus. But joining is so much more than that. It's setting yourself up for a new and better chapter of your life. I'm Staff Sergeant Paul White, and because of the Nebraska Army National Guard, I'm in control of my career. And when the workday ends, I get to come home to my family. Write your next chapter by joining the Nebraska Army National Guard. For more information, schedule a meeting with me, Staff Sergeant Paul White at nationalguard.com.
Check out my new ride. Pretty awesome, huh?
Whoa, that's a sweet convertible. You didn't, win this on a game show, right?
Nope, this is all me and my pals at Members Owned Credit Union.
Oh, yeah, they're the people with the great auto loan rates.
And right now, everyone who transfers or gets a new auto loan has the chance to win a $1,000 gas gift card, too.
Well, you know what this means.
Road trip! Fuel your adventure with an auto loan from Members Owned. Restrictions apply. Go to membersownedcu.org for details.
When it comes to tackling your fall projects, having the right equipment can make a huge difference. At Sunbelt Rentals, they have an extensive line of tools and equipment to help complete any job. From lawn and landscape equipment to hand tools, pressure washers, portable generators for you tailgaters, and much more. Sunbelt Rentals makes it easy to get what you need when you need it. Drop in to see the experts at 5450 Alvo Road in Lincoln, or visit sunbeltrentals.com today to learn how Sunbelt Rentals can make it happen for you.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Welcome back in. Lincoln Southeast High School, the site for Omaha Westside and the Knights at the halftime break. It's a 9-point Lincoln Southeast lead, 35-26 over the 5-0 Omaha Westside Warriors. Nick Sainer, Jay Foreman with you. We talked about it throughout that first half. This Southeast team lost in double overtime to Omaha Bryan 68-66 just about a week ago, or less than a week ago, I should say. They've had to replace a lot. They've beaten teams like Grand Island, Bellevue East, but they've lost to Gretna, Creighton Prep, and obviously that Omaha Bryan. So far, a pretty good showing in the first half.
Yeah, they're battle tested early in the season, so they're a little bit ahead of everybody else as far as strength and schedule wise. And so, when they do the high school points, how close you play those top ranked teams really actually works in your favor. And so, if it ever was a moral victory of losing a double overtime game, especially on the road, Southeast got it, and it bowled over into this first half performance for them against a stacked Westside team. And what they're doing is a little bit like they did last year when they went up to Westside in the first game of the season, I think, or one of the first games of the season. Is they came out hot. They're able to, withstand Westside's run. They're playing really, really good defense. They're not getting beat on the offensive boards. And what they're doing is putting Westside in pick and roll situations. So when they bring in a Kendall Hitton or a Jake Hippelman, they're able to use their size advantage because they know Westside doesn't want to get Stubblefield or Benning or Ricky Lofton in foul trouble when they get caught in switches. So they're able to hit a couple threes and then kill them with the inside twos. And so that's how they're able to build this lead and then keep it going in the halftime. And then also you got to think, Nick, they were just at the point, a pivotal point in the first half where they were only up, I think, 5 or 7 points. They were able to come down and get a good shot at the hoop, get 2 points, and then get Westside out of their game offensively to go in the half up by 9. One thing that they're doing is not giving Westside anything easy. Now, they've made some shots at the hoop, but there hasn't been any clear drives to the lanes and layups besides a couple of runouts. And what Westside is doing is playing right into the hands of Southeast, right? So in a couple of times when they've been tied up in the corner, you saw Westside just standing around. The Westside that really beat East by 30 points were diving to the hoop, right? Yeah. Secondary back cuts, secondary offense, meaning cutting off of any type of double team to get easy shots at the lane. It might not be on the first pass, it'll be on the second pass. I'm sure their coach at halftime is telling we need more ball movement and we need more player movement if we want to try to come back and win this game.
Once again, 35-26 the score at the half. Omaha Westside, the 5-0 Warriors trail the 2-3 overall Lincoln Southeast Knights. Still pretty early on in the season, but here, let's talk about Omaha Westside here also. They coming in off of a dominating win over Omaha Northwest. They won 87-44. They're going to have a big test on Thursday against Bellevue West, a team that knocked them out of the state tournament last season, as we mentioned. But they've been really impressive up to this point in the season. Lincoln Northeast, they put up 102 points against the Rockets. They beat Lincoln Southwest, who has actually a couple Lincoln Southeast transfers at the guard position. They beat them by 15 points. They topped Gretna, that beat this Lincoln Southeast team by 25 earlier on the year. I mean, we're seeing where now it's not always just because Gretna beat Southeast by 25. Right. Southeast comes out, they put up a good fight through 2 quarters of play. A lot of ball game left, obviously, but through 2 quarters of play, where we may have seen this going 35-26 in favor of Westside at the half. It's actually the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly Southeast has outplayed them.
Yeah.
They've out-game planned them, they've outplayed them, and they've outshot them. And more importantly, for Westside and obviously in a good way for Southeast, they've energied them, right? Whereas that they're playing with more energy, more want to, more team. And as you see them coming out here, Westside, if you're down by 9, normally you see them try to take the court with some authority. Whereas look at how Southeast is coming out of their halftime where everybody's jogging on the court. They really want some more. So one thing I think that we didn't really touch on before is when you see Southeast, even last year, they had Wade Voss and Ben Gaudet, where 2 Division I basketball players, and then a host of other players as well that are holdovers or at other schools, is that when Jake Hickelman starts fast, meaning shots as far as open shots or shots at the rim or just even touches, Southeast is a hard team to beat. For whatever reason, over the last 2 seasons or season and a half, they haven't featured him. When you think of a Jake Hickelman, he's a glue guy, right? He can play some defense. He can rebound. He can hit the open shot. He's a good passer. He's strong. He can handle the ball good enough to get to the rim. And what he does is he doesn't speed up his pace of play. So what that allows the quick guards of Isaiah Brown, Micah Ngoye, Tay Moore, or even Dane Gatt, where they're able to cut to the basket or get an open 3. That's how they're able to hit so many threes, because they're wide open, versus when they ran into trouble, what do? 1 or 2 passes, jack up a 3, highly contested, off the backboard. Westside gets to run out and use their speed.
Let's take a quick 60-second timeout. When we return, it's the start of quarter number 3 between Omaha Westside and Lincoln Southeast, right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design, take a computer course, learn Spanish, how to start writing a book, or Air Fryer 101. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
'Tis the season to give the gift of Kawasaki good times at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln. With up to $3,500 off of select 2023 TRX side-by-sides and $2,000 off a 2024 Mule Pro FXT, there's no shortage of savings and good times to be had by the whole crew. Don't miss the 'Tis the Season sales event at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln. They have you covered with a large selection of Kawasaki side-by-sides at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in. Offer valid from 12/31/2023. Subject to change without notice. Offer available on approved purchase of select new unregistered Kawasaki vehicles. Model and year exclusions apply. Cannot be combined with promotional retail financing rates.
We are back here, Lincoln Southeast High School, start of the third quarter. They'll send their initial starting 5, both of them for Lincoln Southeast and Omaha Westside. So those starting 5, just to refresh the listeners: Ricky Lofton, Caleb Benning, Stubblefield, CJ Mitchell, and Tyson Odvedy for the Warriors. For the Knights, led by head coach Joey Warning, Mike Ngoye, Zaya Brown, Tay Moore, Jake Hilkeman, and Dan Geet.
Yeah, for Westside, CJ Mitchell has got to play a lot better. I mean, numerous amount of turnovers, missed a ton of shots. And then they got to get Tyson Odvedy going. He's their 3-point shooter. At the first game of the year against Northeast, I think he said he went 7 to 8 for threes. Wow. And so he's out there to hit threes, to be the difference maker on open shots.
This is where, coming out of the halftime break, Westside's got to stay strong on defense. This is where they get into their best. Yeah, they get a turnover on a wild pass. So they'll inbound it and they'll take it back the other way. But now, what I was going to say is Westside is in their best game when they force turnovers and then get into transition and play in transition offense. So 7:42, third quarter, Westside with the basketball. They trail by 9. At one point in that first half, trailed by 15. It's been the largest lead for the Knights so far tonight. Far side Lofton, now Stubblefield working on Geet. Stops, kicks it back out. Lofton to Benning near the logo. Left side Odvedy inside. Now free throw line in the fingernail. Back out. Mitchell drives off the glass, and it rattles around and
right
falls.
On time. I guess I got to say
you
their
just
name.
Got to talk about him, man.
Yeah, CJ Mitchell has a good job, good patience there by Westside, and it wasn't too bad a defense there by Southeast. Now they come right back again. What do we do? What do we talk about?
Force
Nick?
a shot.
One pass, force a shot, a wild shot. Now they're in transition.
And now Lofton will get called for an offensive foul on the extension.
That has been a long time coming. That was the right arm extended. Southeast coach Joey Warning had been working on the refs all game or all half, really, and he gets it early in the second half. So that's a mental error there by Ricky Lofton. You're in transition. You're going to get a mid-range shot. There's no need to push off. And when you extend like that, you're just asking for a call.
Hilkeman on the far side. Now near the logo, here's Ngoyi. 20 seconds remain on the shot clock. Plenty of time for Southeast to be patient. Run a set here as Geets has it working, gets double teamed. Now underneath the bucket, here's Tay Moore. Leading scorer gets a layup to no good off back iron. Back in transition we go. CJ Mitchell one-on-one break off the glass, and it falls with the bump.
Nick, this right here is just essential. We could talk it into existence. For people listening, we can't say this enough. Southeast gets into trouble when they start to play me ball or selfish ball. You know, you got your two smallest guards underneath the hoop, and they're pump faking, pivoting, trying to get it up against a 6'3" and a 6'7" defender, where if you kick it out and get some movement, they'll get some open shots. So what do? Force up a shot, doesn't hit rim, off the backboard, one pass to C.J. Mitchell. Not only does he make it, he picks up another foul on Mikey Ngoye, and he has a 3-point play. Now it's a 4-point game.
Westside has started this second half on a 5-0 run. And we're about 2 minutes into it as Hilkeman stops in the fingernail and now spins away, gives it to Moore. Moore thought about forcing up a shot, and he's going to get a hand check foul called on C.J. Mitchell, his second.
Right. Now, what you're looking at, Southeast, it looks like two different teams right now. And obviously early in the second half, but where Southeast offense look real choppy, real slow, real kind of not very crisp and efficient, whereas now you're seeing Westside defend a little bit closer to half court. They're rubbing you. They're touching you every single time. So they're trying to get you off your mark.
Moore with the floater. No good, just a little short, but Hilkeman's able to force the rebound. Now Geet will throw up a three. Shot clock's going to reset there. You got 35 seconds to make a good shot.
You talk about situational football, right? Yeah. Well, we talk about all fall.
And now we have a foul on the defensive end.
Okay, excuse me, Nick. No, now it's situational basketball. It's the same thing. I mean, really, whether it's baseball, good footwork, taking, getting the out that you got to take. The quick shot. And then on top of it, it was contested.
Yeah.
The chances of making that, unless you're Steph Curry, you're slim and none.
Yeah, Geet coming into today, he hasn't hit. He's hit 1 3. He's 1 for 4 today. But coming into the game, he was just shooting 26% from beyond the arc nonetheless. So now near the logo, here's Ngoyi, top of the key, working on C.J. Mitchell, trying to drive, kicks out. Tay Moore, great defense there by C.J. Mitchell. We're starting to see a lot more of a physical presence on defensively from Omaha Westside, and that's turning into easy buckets. Floater, and it gets it in the fall is Mikey Ngoyi.
Mikey Ngoyi got away with an offensive foul there, a little bit of remember the old game 3-yard fight, just kind of bullying your way to the hoop, and so good offense, or good defense, but better offense there by the Lincoln Southeast Knights.
So Lofton, top of the key, left side, Odvedy. Now Stubblefield, back to Mitchell, back to Stubblefield. 3 ball, just a little strong, off back iron. Defensive board cleared by Ngoyi. Up the floor, Zaya Brown. This is an opportunity. Slow it down.
Yeah.
Slow it down.
Slow it down or get a good shot. Space the court. Yep. I think the more that they make Westside play defense, the better it is. Now they have the size advantage. Great move there by Hilkeman.
Hilkeman drives baseline. Nice spin move. Fake left. Went right. Went baseline. And he gets a layup to go. It's back to an 8-point lead. This is one of those things. Keep Westside at arm's length if you're Lincoln Southeast. And you do that by slowing things down, finding a high percentage shot like they have on the last 2 possessions.
What they did was they caught Westside in a switch, and then they got it to the Hilkeman, guarded by Ricky Lofton. It's a size advantage and a strength advantage. Great offense there by Lincoln Southeast.
Odvedy 3 ball short. Rebound cleared by Geet, and it's with 4:08 to play in the third quarter. Southeast with an 8-point advantage. Geet left side working on Mitchell. Now gets picked up by Benny. Now Zaya Brown drives. He gets it knocked out of bounds, and it's going to stay with the Knights.
Yeah, it was a good offensive series right there, and they almost had Westside in a transition in a couple switches, and just went off the hand of the Omaha Westside defender. But right now, as much as it was a 4-point game, now it's back to an 8-point lead. So you got to give Southeast credit. They withstood the early rush by Westside. And you have to expect that, right? But then they do. They got it to Jake Hilkeman, size advantage, pick and roll, 2 points. Those are like gut punches against a team that you have the size and strength advantage against in some areas, as Lincoln Southeast does. Jake Hilkeman again.
Great job by Jake Hilkeman working on Carson Healy. and he gets the fadeaway one-handed shot to fall. It's back to a 10-point double-digit lead for Lincoln Southeast, 41-31. Stubblefield with a little hesitation off the glass
right
and in.
Pass, right. Dang got he got hit him with the okie doke. The okie doke in terms of basketball is the equivalent of the dead leg. He faked it like he was going out, went right past him. Now it's still an 8-point lead. So you had a 10-point lead on a great play by Jake Hickelman. Came right. What did they do? Westside comes right back and gives you Stubblefield. So look, it's a battle of wills right now. Who's going to really bear down and start playing some defense and executing? Versus when you look at Southeast, they're either feast or famine. One pass and shot, and you give up either a 2 or a 3-point play or not many threes because Westside hasn't hit the broadside of a barn. Or is it Westside? Can we play defense enough and then move more on offense to really take the confidence away from Southeast? They haven't done anything to take the confidence away from Southeast. That's why Southeast has been able to answer any run, big or small, that they've had.
Yeah, 324. I mean, we talked about in the first half, early on even, when it was a 16-4 or 16-6 ball game. Every time Omaha Westside punched, Lincoln Southeast was able to punch right back and keep them somewhat at arm's length. 3:24 to go, 41-33. Lincoln Southeast with a lead, trying to get back to 500.
Nick, I wonder if, and look, Southeast is really, really playing well. But I wonder if they're catching Westside at a really good time where you're playing your arch rival on Thursday in a matter of essentially 36 hours, that you're catching them sleepwalking a little bit. There's still no excuse because this is a game, and this is a team you lost to last year at the beginning of the season. So Westside should have came down here focused.
So that was a Jim Simons timeout, head coach of Omaha Westside there, and we see out of the timeout they extended the defense, but now back off after they get the inbound pass in, and they cross the timeline with
their best
Ngoye.
on-the-ball defender against Mikey Ngoye. They got Jake Hickelman again because the reason why they did that there, Nick.
Charge drawn on by Caleb Benning, as I believe that's going to be Tay. If that's on Tay Moore, that's his third.
Yeah, it was a shove off there.
Scratch that. It's going to be on Zaya Brown.
Sometimes when you're playing in physical games, you try to be extra physical yourself. What the change was, right? So before they had Ricky Lofton against Michael Ngoye. What'd you see? Caleb Benning guard him. Caleb Benning got switched on to Jake Hickelman, fully strong enough to do it. Then he played really good off-the-ball defense to get the charge right there. Good. A good adjustment there by Westside.
So now back on the other end, after the offensive foul on the Lincoln Southeast Knights, Caleb Benning gets whistled for an offensive foul.
A little bit of move and pick there. I'm not really sure if that was kind of just get caught up in the trash. I'm not really sure if Caleb Benning was even trying to pick him, but nevertheless, they called an offensive foul on Caleb Benning.
2:48 to go, third quarter, 41-33 Lincoln Southeast. Left side, Tay Moore. They try to get the pass inside. Great defense by Stubblefield. He takes it away from Hinton. Hinton does have 2 fouls. Zaya Brown picked up his third. He's on the bench. Floater, good, and Hinton picks up his third on a great play by Stubblefield. He'll go to the line to shoot one more.
That was a great series there by Stubblefield, right? Where when you think about him, they tried to punch it in there to Kendall Hinton. He uses long arms. Again, he's 6'3", 6'4", but he has the wingspan of a 6'8" defender. He's able to jump around, get the ball, get him in transition. Southeast doesn't get back on defense. He gets Kendall Hinton backing up, backpedaling, and realizes he has 2 fouls on him. So what does he do? Take it right to him, draws the third foul, 3-point play. So instead of being down by 8, now you're down by 5, and now we're going to a full court press here. And where Mikey Ngoye feels very, very comfortable, what they're doing is making you eat up clock to get you off rhythm offensively. Why can Westside do that? They have 15 guards over there, and they have 2 or 3 of them that haven't gotten in the game yet. C.J. Mitchell didn't like the foul because he's saying that Michael Ngoye kind of hooked him, so he was trying to fight over top. It's a judgment call, subjective. They have to be careful about the touchy fouls right now.
41-36, 5-point Knight advantage here. And Ngoye will pop it to Hilkeman. He drives on Maddox Anderson, the up and under, and he's going to be fouled by Ricky Lofton. And so Hilkeman will go to the line to shoot 2.
That was on a Maddox Anderson where he got beat off
Maddox
the dribble.
Anderson, rather.
He got beat off the dribble pretty easily by Jake Hickelman. And then he got, I call it double beat, where he didn't get the defensive rebound, so he was late and almost essentially got beat by Jake Hickelman off the bounce, and then he got beat on the defensive boards. and now they're at the free throw line.
So it's a couple things to watch here. There's 2 players for the Warriors that have 3 fouls, and they've actually been substituting for each other for the majority of tonight. C.J. Mitchell and Maddox Anderson both have 3. For the Knights, there's 2 players with 3 fouls as well. Kendall Hinton, who they've brought in more for a physical presence, maybe down low, and then Zaya Brown, one of their starting guards.
Right, yeah. Kendall Hinton happens to foul out, they're fine as long as they're good hard fouls. And so what you're seeing right here from Westside, they're almost got a over and back, is just a lack of concentration, lack of energy tonight, and they just look off. They don't look as good, but you know what? You get out here and play against a tough Lincoln Southeast team, you're going to lose.
Stubblefield is starting to assert the dominance as he just fights over the top of Ngoye, smaller and weaker. But, I mean, Ngoye's strong, but weaker than Stubblefield in comparison.
Stubblefield's built like a tight end, like a hybrid. I mean, he's big. Look at those big legs, long, smooth, and he had him in transition as well. Here we go, Dane Gott, right off his own. Dane Gott tried to do, again, the selfish basketball. Joey Warning has got to get this out of their system. As they go into the season, you continue to let this go on. Look, you're at a crucial part. This is situational basketball here, Nick. You're up by 5. You're trying to slow them down. You get it at the elbow. You go between your legs, drive left, try to spin back. Next thing you know, it's probably not in your bag, like they like to say, right out of bounds. Now you're right. That's what I've been told.
I don't know.
I don't have any basketball skills, but now Dane Gott is at the same place me and you are, watching the game.
There you are. Stubblefield trying to fight through contact, and he's going to walk with it. That's a guy trying to just maybe get a heat check, thinking he's the only one that can hit a shot. But, I mean, how about this? Joey Warning, head coach for Lincoln Southeast, has elected to bring Zaya Brown back into the game with those 3 fouls, sit Dane Gott down, and we still got a whole quarter of basketball to play. Zaya Brown finds on the far side, Applegate, and it's an air ball 3. Benning.
Again, the quick shots is unnecessary.
Benning in transition gets it blocked by Ngoye, and he's going to get bailed out with a foul call.
Again, right there, we keep saying it, right? Nate Applegate, who probably has played, 1 minute all game, and probably is not known as a three-point shooter. You see him underneath the hoop. Yes, you got the wide kick open 3, but again, it's situational basketball. And sometimes the shot you don't take is actually as good as the shot that you make, if you get what I mean there. Whereas, are you a three-point shooter? Have you been shooting really good this year? Would one extra pass and then maybe you secondary cut off of it would be really, really good. Now the clock is stopped, right? And now Caleb Benning has cut it to a 4-point lead. These are the things that you have to really, really evaluate when you're playing a really top-notch team, Westside team that has a ton of experience and a ton of scores. So you really can't stop one guy because everybody can score.
So Benning goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line, where he was shooting 68% coming into today's game. Those were his first 2 free throws. Here's Tay Moore near the logo. 50 seconds remain in quarter number 3. Moore takes the drive, and he's going to be fouled up top by Ricky Lofton. Lofton points his palms to the ceiling, asking, how is that a foul? But it's going to be number 2 on number 1.
Man, that was those are momentum-changing plays, which we talked about at the other end here, where you feel like your Ricky Lofton had a really look from here. From granted we aren't there down there, and you got to respect the ref's call. Looked like a really clean block, and then it's not only the points that they potentially could get at the free throw line, which Tay Moore missed the first one. It's the points that you don't get on the other end that essentially would have went to a 2-point game because they were one pass and up to a layup.
So 43-39 after Tay Moore's first free throw, no good. He goes 1 of 2 now from the line. 45 seconds left on the clock, third quarter. Benning will bring it across the timeline, gets picked up by Moore. Now spins around, right side Anderson. Now Lofton, back to Anderson. 3 ball, off to the right. Defensive board cleaned up by Dane Gott.
All right, here we go. Shot clock is off. 35-second shot clock is essentially off. 27 seconds left. What does Southeast do? Do they try to get the one last shot or go 2 for 1? It looked like they're going to try to bleed the clock and get it. And the offensive foul. Wow, there's an elbow thrown there. If you're in the NBA, that might be reviewable.
That's a foul. That's a fine. There's a little slip in your locker saying, hey, this is coming out of your next paycheck.
You're getting a slip, and then it's already out of your next paycheck. That's the way they do things in the professional sports. I think they take the money, and then you got to appeal it to get back.
There you go.
But that's just sometimes the way it goes. A physical game. Look, you know what? One thing, Nick, is a lot of these guys play against each other in the summers for various club teams, so they know each other, right? And so they know how each other plays. That's why this game is so highly contested, and that's why it gives Southeast a chance, even though they've lost to 3 top-ranked teams all year long.
Westside with 5 seconds on the clock. Stubblefield in the lane, up and under. He gets the layup to fall. That'll do it for the end of the third quarter. And Jay Foreman, after it was a 15-point ball game and then a 9-point ball game at the half, it's now just a 3-point deficit for Omaha Westside facing off against Lincoln Southeast.
You know, the one thing that is very, very impressive about Stubblefield is his patience and his footwork. I mean, he could really, you know, even though he's 6'3 and a half, 6'4", I said he has he has the wingspan of a 6'8", 6'9" inside guy because of such long arms. The one thing he could do is he could teach a big man school. I mean, he's very, very efficient in there, very, very patient and strong as an ox. And they went right down to him to get that last bucket to end that third quarter. So if I'm Westside, being down, 9 at halftime to only being down by 3, that's what you wanted to do. You wanted to win the third quarter, and then you're going to try to gut out and win the fourth quarter. Now, if I'm Southeast, if I'm Joy Warning, I'm talking to my guards and I'm talking to, my forwards, which is Jake Hickelman and Dane Gott. It's like, let's be patient. Let's try to catch him in a switch. And when you guys have a guard, I want you pounding it inside. And when you do that, what you're doing is you're punching a hole in the west side and scoring against them potentially. But more importantly, you're keeping them out of transition, right? And then thirdly, if you're getting 2 or 3 passes and getting an inside shot by when you catch them on a switch, it lets you know that they're not one pass and quick shot. And that's been their Achilles heel and their kryptonite, not only this game, but for the last 2 seasons.
So start of the fourth quarter, it's 44-41. Lincoln Southeast leads the Westside Warriors. The Warriors 5-0 on the season, while the Knights 2-3. And the Warriors will have the basketball to start things here in the final period of play. C.J. Mitchell, his older brother Sharif, currently at Ohio, started his college career at Creighton. C.J. Mitchell tries a 3, just a little short, barely grazed the rim. And Taymor cleans up the miss at the elbow. So he'll cross the half-court line. Taymor with it, gets picked up by Lofton. He'll pull up, 3-ball, short. Great box out by Benning, and they're going to call a foul underneath on Caleb Benning. And so I was getting ready to say nice box out by Caleb Benning, but as soon as the words came out of the mouth, they whistle it and call a foul on Benning.
I mean, down on this end, there's been more than a couple. There's been 3 or 4 questionable calls. But another offensive foul right there. That's a good job by Caleb Benning there. He got beat up pretty hard there by Jake Hickelman. 2 shoulders and a half an elbow. Look, a little MMA action. And good job there by Caleb Benning, keeping his head and not getting frustrated by not only the calls but the physical play.
Back in transition we go. Dane Gatt gets the layup to fall. It's 46-41. Lincoln Southeast leads by 5. Mitchell in transition. Gets it blocked. But there's going to be a foul on the body on Dane Geet.
Yeah, I mean, they are not getting back in transition. It's amazing how quick Dane Geet made that fast break layup to where Caleb Benning got it to C.J. Mitchell. And next thing you know, he is down in the middle of the lane. Mikey Goye had a really good secondary block, but he was fouled before he shot it.
So here, 46-41. Mitchell at the free throw line, off back iron on the first free throw. I mentioned his older brother Sharif started a college career at Creighton. I always say it weird. At Creighton, playing for the Blue Jays after a couple years, transferred out, and now plays for the Bobcats of Ohio. So C.J. Mitchell.
Yeah, it comes from a good stock. Alvin Mitchell was at Nebraska when I was there. Really good player. Alvin Mitchell himself is a really good club coach, a very well-established coach in the Omaha metro area and nationally, too, because he coaches on the Adidas circuit. And so C.J. Mitchell is struggling a little bit tonight, but what he's going to do is you see him, he's starting to crank up his defense intensity. He knows if he's not – I'm not really sure what that was there besides the individual ball there, and that's not what you want.
Missed layup by Dane Geet, that is. Back in transition we go. Stubblefield on the left side. Kicks it out. Healy, nice shot fake in traffic. Offensive rebound, no good. Defensive rebound tipped around, and Ngoyi comes up with it for Lincoln Southeast. Got to slow it down. If you're Lincoln Southeast, great defense by Stubblefield, and now he gets whistled for a body foul on a nice little hand check.
Yeah, I mean, look, Westside had a couple chances at the rim, and then tried to have a quick putback and just didn't follow there. But what they're doing here is They increased their energy. C.J. Mitchell is definitely not playing up to his potential, but that happens sometimes. And so he's going to keep plugging at it. He's been there. He's a veteran player, and they know they just got to fight through it. There's a long way to go. 6.5 minutes left, and they're only down by 5. If I'm in the huddle for Westside, I'm saying, listen, we haven't played close to our potential. We're playing one of our worst games of the year, and they're only up by 5. If I'm in Southeast, I'm saying, listen, we withstood 2 or 3 runs. Let's not play down to not only, I wouldn't say their level, but let's not play into their hands. Yeah. Anytime we get a quick shot, you saw it by Dane Gott right there. He went between the legs, a little shake and bake, and it never worked out for him. He's a good player when he catches it in rhythm in the offense to where he can make one move and go. And so it was a good timeout there, I think, by Joey Warning to slow down the pace. And Joey Warning's done a good job of controlling the pace with timely timeouts to coach the guys through this type of situational basketball that maybe they haven't done well in early in the season.
46-41 is where we are at. 6:25 to go in the ball game. This at one time was a 15-point Lincoln Southeast advantage. Then it was trimmed to 9 at the break. And now here we are at 5. Westside's gotten it as low as 3 points at one point. But now, as Lincoln Southeast was able to get a couple free throws, they lead 46-41 as they'll sideline inbound. They'll throw it into the backcourt to Taymor, and he'll bring it up to floor. So reset the shot clock, 31 on the shot clock.
There.
Almost a carry by Taymor. Hilkeman
got him
working on Caleb Benning. Hilkeman may have gotten away with a little bit of a shoulder, but short on the floater. A nice rebound collected by Ricky Lofton. Left side, here's Stubblefield. He's been the man of the second half as he drives, spin move in the lane, up and under. Now passes it out. C.J. Mitchell on the perimeter. Mitchell with Stubblefield working down low, entry pass. Stubblefield working on Zaya Brown and those 3 fouls. And we have a foul called. They might have gotten Zaya Brown. And it's going to be Zaya Brown's 4th personal foul.
He's one of their best defenders. And also, Nick, I would argue with you that he's their best open 3-point shooter. Mm-hmm. So he's got to be careful here. He's a senior. Joey Warning trusts him, but you're going to get some knick-knack fouls there if you keep playing against Stubblefield.
And off the entry pass, inbound pass, Caleb Benning drains a trifecta. That's his second of the night. He came in just shooting 27% from beyond the arc. He's now 2 of 3 tonight.
Yeah, coming off obviously a state championship run with Westside football, he's just starting to get his basketball legs into him, and it was a good shot by there. But good answer there by Dane Geek right there. It's still a little individual basketball there. One pass, he was able to catch him in a switch and use his strength to score at the rim.
It's 48-44. Benning right side. Now Mitchell back to Lofton. Lofton tries to dribble through traffic, falls on the basketball, still trying to fight for it. And we have a Jim Simons timeout. And so with 5:11, we're going to step aside as well. We'll be back in 30 seconds right after this on the ticket.
My new ride. Pretty awesome, huh?
Whoa, that's a sweet convertible. You didn't win this on a game show, right?
Nope, this is all me and my pals at Members Own Credit Union.
Oh yeah, they're the people with the great auto loan rates.
And right now, everyone who transfers or gets a new auto loan has the chance to win a $1,000 gas gift card too.
Well, you know what this means.
Road trip. Fuel your adventure with an auto loan from Members Own. Restrictions apply. Go to membersowncu.org for details.
Nick Sander, Jay Foreman back with you. Lincoln Southeast High School as the Knights lead 48-44. 5 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the fourth quarter after a Jeff Simons timeout for the Warriors. They'll get the basketball and inbound it underneath their own bucket, trailing by 4 here in the fourth quarter. Joey Warning and the Southeast staff not happy that that timeout was awarded to him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lucky timeout there because I would probably say Westside didn't have full control there, but good job there by continuing to play.
Stubblefield gets it stripped off of the hands of Dane Geet. It goes out of bounds, and we'll do it again from underneath the Westside bucket.
Really good job there. You see, Stubblefield has been pretty much unstoppable tonight. And so you see, and whenever they need a bucket, they're going to go to him. He's playing at a good pace, but good job there by Dane Geet. We're slapping the ball out of his hand.
So here's Mitchell, top of the key, drives through 2 defenders, kicks it out. Healy, 3 ball at the shot clock, or at the final second of the shot clock. You heard the horn behind us, and he misses everything. Back the other way, Taymor on the right wing. Great defense there, forcing him to back it out by guess who? Kevin Stubblefield. Now Moore in the lane, spins, looking for help, finds Ngoyi at the top, works on Benning, hooks Benning, but no call. Off the glass, no good. Tip back up, no good either. And it's saved from going out of bounds by Applegate. But then they touch the baseline, and it will be Westside basketball. 4:27 to go. Time is ticking away for Westside as they trail by 4. They've trailed for basically this
the whole
entire
game.
game.
Yeah, they haven't had anything close to a lead, and they're starting to wake up here a little bit, but they still, I think Southeast is doing a good job of matching their energy and then also taking timely shots at the rim when they get them in a switch.
Stubblefield at the top. He'll stop, pop at the elbow, too short. And Hilkman gets the rebound, which he carries out to. Right side, here's Moore. He'll cross the timeline, get picked up by Benning. The best on-ball defender for Omaha Westside. Moore kicks it. Ngoyi thought about the 3, gets the pump fake, takes the contact off the glass, too strong, and bodies go flying. Benning hits the hardwood, and there's going to be a foul called on Lincoln Southeast.
Yeah, I think that might be on Jake Hickelman. He came flying in there. Nate Applegate, but Jake Hickelman came in there flying like he was coming off the top rope, WWE style. This is about the 4th time he's kind of collided with Caleb Benning. It's a very physical game, highly contested, competitive game. This is what you like to see any day of the week in high school basketball.
The 5 out there for Westside: C.J. Mitchell, Caleb Benning, Ricky Lofton, Kevin Stubblefield, and Maddox Anderson. In the lane, working as Lofton, way too easy as he just backed Hilkeman down and gets the left-handed finish to go.
The difference between Stubblefield and Lofton there is Lofton's a little quicker, but just as strong. And then here comes Dane Gott coming there.
Gets his pocket picked up the floor. C.J. Mitchell, and now Tay Moore is able to intercept the pass.
Good job there by defense and stealing the ball for Dane Gott, but just a little bit too far on the run out there for C.J. Mitchell.
We're starting to see that intensity. Bodies going a little quicker for Westside on the defensive end of the floor. 3:11. Plenty of time left in this basketball game. 4th quarter, 2-point Lincoln Southeast lead. And Joey Warning wants to talk things over. We'll let him do it. We'll step aside and be right back right here. High School Hoops on 93.7 The Ticket.
When it comes to joining the Nebraska Army National Guard, you've heard it all before. College, healthcare, signing bonus. But joining is so much more than that. It's setting yourself up for a new and better chapter of your life. I'm Staff Sergeant Paul White, and because of the Nebraska Army National Guard, I'm in control of my career. And when the workday ends, I get to come home to my family. Write your next chapter by joining the Nebraska Army National Guard. For more information, schedule a meeting with me, Staff Sergeant Paul White at nationalguard.com.
3:07 to play. Nick Sainer, Jay Foreman with you. Lincoln Southeast leads 5-0 Omaha Westside, 48-46. Both these teams, as we've talked about thoroughly this evening, been battle tested early on in the season. Obviously, Westside's been able to come out victorious in all 5 of their tests, but Lincoln Southeast not so much. But here they are tonight, leading by 2 late in this one. They'll get the inbound in the backcourt, and Ngoyi will cross the timeline, gets picked up by Stubblefield. And Ngoyi driving on Stubblefield. Now Anderson, nice left-handed finish by guess who, Mikey Ngoyi.
Yeah, they kind of cleared it out in a delay right there. You're starting to see what Southeast is going to do when they need a bucket. They're going to go right back to Michael Ngoyi. Again, C.J. Mitchell had the same opportunity, and he isn't even close. And I'm not really sure if he's scored yet tonight, but he's going to have to try to affect the game on the defensive end to get Westside a chance to win at the very end, because Southeast is playing really, really good basketball.
So here are the Knights leading by 4, 50-46. Tay Moore with it, right side guarded by C.J. Mitchell. Moore in the lane, spins, throws up a contested shot. It falls with the harm, and Tay Moore will go to the line to shoot one more.
Yeah, that was a good, strong move by Tay Moore. He's a veteran player. He leads Southeast in scoring. Really good job right there. He kind of got stopped, but, he got hit on the wrist. But you saw you saw Tay Moore really battle through there and get the ball up and have an and one chance or a 3-point play.
I'll say this, really good minutes off the bench by Nate Applegate, who came in for Zaya Brown for a good chunk of time here in the 4th quarter. Zaya Brown, obviously, with 4 personal fouls. Now Joey Warning goes back to his starting guard with the final 2 minutes and 20 seconds here to play. So Benning with it, right side, Stubblefield top. Now Maddox Anderson back to Stubblefield, working on Geet. Works on Geet in the lane. Layup, no good. Tip try, no good. Also, but tipped out, and Westside gets another chance. Lofton working on Hilkeman. Spin move. Nice finish. And we have a timeout for head coach Jim Simons and the Warriors.
Yeah,
ahead,
what
Jay.
you saw here, Nick, it seemed like 45 seconds ago, Westside was down by 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tay Moore comes in and gets a 3-point play, and then also Westside gave up 2 free throws. So what you see the difference in the game now being 5, after the move to the hoop. But you see Westside usually what you think that would be well-equipped to play down the stretch in situational basketball, like I like to call it, has not played up to snuff tonight, and Southeast is taking advantage of it. And I also want to say Southeast is taking advantage of it, but I think the energy and the execution that Southeast has played with has made Westside play this bad. Yeah. You got to think when you have a potential all-Metro player like C.J. Mitchell not on the scoreboard, or if he is, he probably has 2 points. He's missed numerous layups and had a numerous amount of turnovers. You got to give Southeast a lot of credit what they're able to do tonight.
So exactly 2 minutes on the game clock, 53-48 the score. Lincoln Southeast, they'll have the basketball, full court press, released by head coach Jim Simons of Omaha Westside. It's broken easily by the Knights. Now Tay Moore will slow things down. Still 28 seconds left on the shot clock. Moore with it on the Knight logo at midcourt.
Little 4 corners here. Try to bleed the clock here by Southeast. And sometimes in these situations, Nick, you can't start this too early because then you lose the rhythm on offense. I think if I'm Southeast, I'm still trying to beat them off the dribble and get to the rim.
Tay Moore gets exactly what Jay said, to the rim, and gets the floater to finish. 1.5 minutes to go, fourth quarter. C.J. Mitchell in the lane. Mitchell gets double team, looking for help. Maddox Anderson, 3-ball, got it! And another timeout by Jim Simons. And that makes things a little more interesting as Maddox Anderson's able to connect on the trifecta. It's 55-51.
There's still plenty of time left, 1:22 in any basketball game, let alone high school basketball. There's a lot of time, and it's a timely 3 there to keep a little bit of life in the West Side, arm. But ultimately, Southeast, they feel very comfortable going against this West Side press because you have 4 guards in there, essentially 5 if you count Jake Hickelman, that can break the press. They're strong guys, and especially when you have a ball handler like Mikey Ogoye and Tay Moore. And then if Jake Hickelman is your 4th ball handler, you feel very comfortable with Zaya Brown inbounding the ball or getting it on a secondary pass as well.
1:22 to play, fourth quarter, 55-51 is where we stand. Omaha Westside, as we mentioned, will face off against Bellevue West at home on Thursday. Lincoln Southeast, they'll have to wait till Friday at 5:15 to play against Columbus. They'll be right here on this floor as well.
Right.
We'll take a break from high school hoops on the ticket up until the 2024 calendar year. These schools play in early season tournaments with games sometimes during the day. Obviously, Christmas break plays a factor, the holiday season. But then it's full go for us here on 93.7 The Ticket after the turn of the new calendar year. So 1:22 to play. Lincoln Southeast out of the West Side timeout will have the basketball. They'll have to go the full length of the floor as they lead by 4. Dane Geet, the inbounder, he can run the baseline.
He does
knowing
to run your baseline. There's not a lot of high school coaches or players that know that. Good job by Dane Geet and Joey Warning to make them know that you can run.
So Zaya Brown
almost for a steal right there.
Yeah, C.J. Mitchell does have 4 personal fouls, though, so we'll see how aggressive he is down the stretch. 1:03 to play, 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Tay Moore with it, guarded somewhat closely by Maddox Anderson. Now he'll drive down the center of the lane, gets it knocked away. Maddox Anderson up the floor, Caleb Benning. Benning left side, now Lofton. Don't have to rush if you're West Side. C.J. Mitchell, right side, 45 seconds to go. Now Benning, top of the key. Southeast student section getting a little life.
Get something going to the hoop right there just in case you don't make it.
Great pick and roll. Stubblefield gets it blocked by Hilkeman. As Geet has it, and he is fouled. What a defensive block by Jake Hilkeman on the man of the second half for Omaha Westside, Kevin Stubblefield.
Yeah, C.J. Mitchell, unfortunately for him, fouled out. He had to foul right there. Stubblefield had it. They had him in a good pick and roll pocket pass right there. And Stubblefield wasn't able to finish strong at the rim. Maybe underestimated the defense of stalwart. or the defense ability of Jake Hickelman. So good job by Westside, defending, making Southeast burn the timeout. Now it comes down to a free throw contest, right? Get the ball in. You want to get the ball in, one of your top 2 free throw shooters, and then go from there. So it's a game of situational basketball. And I think I saw one of the Southeast assistant coaches telling them we got to catch the ball with 2 hands. We got to be strong with the ball. And so Southeast is probably going to come up with their best press break, where you got it's interesting here where Southeast head coach isn't coaching right now. You have Southeast, it looks like they're JV. I've never seen anything like this.
Assistant coach is the one sitting on the chair. Talking to the team.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Working with the whiteboard. Well, you talk about free throw shooters, just kind of look. You look up and down this roster wondering, all right, if you're Westside, who do you not want to foul? Who do you not want to put at the charity stripe? And
Mikey Goya, you do not want him down the ball.
There's 3 names that you need to know if you're Omaha Westside. That's Mike and Goy, who's shooting 85% from the free throw line this season. Tay Moore shooting 90% from the free throw line. And Hilkeman is 9 for 9 here in 2023, 100% at the charity stripe coming into tonight's game. So 32 seconds on the clock. There's 4 team fouls on the Warriors. They'll have to immediately foul. Maybe they try to get a steal. The shot clock is turned off, it looks like, but it shouldn't be, as there's still 32 seconds left in the game. And they're going to have to call back-to-back timeouts. Great job defensively. It's a full timeout. We're going to step aside as well, take our final timeout of the broadcast, barring overtime, and we'll be right back here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers, and if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
Nick Sainer, Jay Foreman back with you. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. High school hoops here coming your way. Final minutes of this one, 32 seconds left on the game clock. Lincoln Southeast has had to call back-to-back timeouts. As nice job defensively by Westside defending an inbounds pass. Lincoln Southeast will have to go the full length of the floor. Only one player's fouled out. That's C.J. Mitchell for the Warriors. However, a little bit of foul trouble. Maddox Anderson has 3 for Westside. But for Lincoln Southeast, you have Zaya Brown with 4 and Kendall Hinton, who we've barely seen in this second half, have 3.
Yeah, one thing about what Southeast is doing, they got to get the ball in bounds. 32 seconds is a long time. But sometimes in these situations, you can get a cheap basket if you get them deep here.
So now they'll inbound it. Tay Moore, he'll bring it across the timeline. Tay Moore pushing the pace, and now he gets doubled, throws it out. Dane Geet loses the basketball, and we'll have a foul called as they brought in Trell Snoddy, the junior, who that's the first time he's seen the floor.
Back in the game. Maybe the last foul wasn't on him.
Yeah, maybe he was just in the vicinity.
Yeah, and they do a little bit of defense for offense there, right? So
Trell Snoddy, that's his first personal foul. C.J. Mitchell will come back into the game. The first free throw is good by Dane Geet. He was coming in. That was just his 13th free throw attempted. He was 6 of 12 coming into the game. And so if you're Omaha Westside playing the statistics, Dane Geet's the guy that you would be okay being at the charity stripe. Here's the second one. No good. Defensive board cleaned up by Benning. Now here's up the floor, C.J. Mitchell driving the length of the floor, off the glass, too strong. He has missed about 5 bunnies as Tay Moore now has it, and he's going to be fouled by Lofton with 14 seconds left, and it feels like if you're C.J. Mitchell or you're Omaha Westside, rather, that was kind of the one that took the wind out of sails.
Yeah, you got to get that quick bucket so you're down by 3.
And they had a good look, Jay.
Yeah, it was right at the rim. It's about 6 missed layups prior from CJ and about 12 for Westside in total. So, look, it's a game of sometimes it's a rough day at the office. Mm-hmm. CJ Mitchell is a well-respected and established player. You don't expect him to play, not to his level. And unfortunately for him and fortunately for Southeast, tonight is the night that CJ Mitchell hasn't played his best.
So now up the floor, Mitchell across the timeline, 58-51, and that pass goes out of bounds. It'll be Lincoln Southeast basketball. Joey Warning gives a big fist pump at half court, And with 7 seconds left, it looks like Jim Simons is going to call off the Dogs.
Yeah, this game is over. We're Westside. You just got beat from the get.
So now Ngoyi will have to bring it across half-court line. They do so, and there's the horn. Lincoln Southeast is able to hand the Westside Warriors their first loss of the season in the form of a 58-51 victory, and Southeast improves to 3-3 on the season, while Omaha Westside falls to 5-1. Jay, final thoughts in this one as Southeast gets a big win going into a game against Columbus, while the Westside Warriors have an even bigger test awaiting them in less than 48 hours.
Yeah, Southeast is going into the hack tournament, so they're going with a lot of confidence. One, you played Omaha Bryan to double overtime, and you double down on the good effort and come back and beat a tough Westside team, even though it wasn't their best effort.
Yeah.
Tonight to go into your tournament. So look, if I'm Columbus, I'm on red alert because Southeast is starting to play some good. If they can play like they do tonight, or if they did tonight, they'll be tough to beat.
This looked like a completely different team than one that lost by 25 to Gretna, by 20 to Gretna, by 15 to Creighton Prep, and even lost to Omaha Bryan in double overtime. Completely different ball club tonight against a very good, normally good Westside Warriors team. Westside was kind of down tonight, not the type of Warriors performance we're accustomed to seeing.
They look like the Westside had been, either they had practiced too hard yesterday or something. The legs looked dead. They just did not look like they had a lot of energy. I doubt they came down and took them lightly. I just think it's at the point that, Southeast came out with focus and wanted to, right the wrong from Omaha Bryan game. It probably took some confidence from it that normally you wouldn't take from a 2 overtime loss. And then Westside just looked lethargic, from the very, time that they took the floor. Even coming out in the second half, even though they came out on a run, they still didn't play with the type of defensive pressure. And you always kind of waited for them to turn it on. Yeah. They never turned it on. And if they did turn it on, it was too little too late. So the learning lesson for a veteran team that you have to come ready to play, and especially with a veteran team in Southeast playing at home and with their backs against the wall. They were desperate to get to 500 heading into the hack tournament, so you got their best effort. They probably shot the lights out, probably hadn't shot from 3 that well in quite some time, but for them, they're going to say it's no time like the present, and they were just ready to get started. So both teams had a lot of learning lessons, and both of them were taught a competitive lesson tonight, and it was a great game by Southeast.
Huge thanks to Harrison Arns pushing all the buttons, making sure we sound okay back in the studio. Once again, that'll do it for us from Lincoln Southeast High School. Your final score, the Knights get a big upset against the Westside Warriors, 58-51. They come away victorious and hand Westside their first loss of the season. Thanks again for listening. Have a great rest of your Thursday night, and we'll be back in just a few short weeks with more high school hoops right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design,